Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're building a bulletproof mental model for choosing a genuine European cybersecurity partner. We're basing this off a really insightful source article covering the top 10 European cybersecurity consulting companies, and we are going to extract a confident, totally jargon-free framework straight from that text. You see, every single country in the European Union has its own local cybersecurity consulting firms, and for business decision makers, well, navigating that massive market can honestly feel like stepping through a minefield. So today, we're going to figure out what a good security firm actually looks like.
So, here is our roadmap for today. First up, the consulting trap. Second, vetting cybersecurity firms. Third, global and enterprise leaders. And finally, specialized and boutique firms. Let's get right to it.
Section 1, the consulting trap. Right off the bat, we've got to expose a dirty little secret in the IT procurement world. We're talking about consultants who are actually just software resellers wearing a really good disguise. Our source highlights this as a deceptive business model that companies fall for every single day. According to the framework we're looking at, uncovering a vendor's true business model really just boils down to one incredibly blunt question. Are you ready? Do you resell any security products or licenses? That's it. Before you look at their capabilities or their client list or even their pricing, ask that directly. Why? Because the answer tells you immediately if their incentives are actually aligned with protecting your company or if they're just looking out for their own profit margins. Literally, if the answer is yes, just hang up the phone. Just hang up. I mean, think about the massive conflict of interest we're dealing with here. If a firm does a penetration test just to turn around and sell you dozens of software licenses to magically fix the problem, they aren't true consultants. They are salespeople pushing product. Real consultants solve problems by reducing your complexity and fixing your architecture. Disguised resellers, they solve problems by adding complexity and, you guessed it, selling you more software. It really boils down to this dynamic. A true consulting company wants a long-term relationship based on sound architecture. A disguised reseller simply wants to push product licenses. A genuine consultant sits on your side of the table, you know? They look at the structural integrity of your systems and build a defense that actually protects you, completely regardless of which specific tools you use. But a disguised reseller, they're just looking for the absolute fastest route to a shopping cart. Moving on to Section 2, vetting cybersecurity firms. Okay, so you've weeded out the software resellers. Great. But how do you know if the actual consultants you're left with are, well, any good? Our source material lays out a highly specific framework for this exact situation. First, let's talk red flags. We absolutely have to understand that massive revenue, huge marketing headcounts, and shiny sponsored awards, they are not guarantees of quality. The source points out that there are some amazingly successful security companies making a fortune that have absolutely nothing to do with true consulting. If a firm has a huge headcount, but like 90% of those people are sitting in sales and marketing, massive red flag. And those industry awards, you'd be totally shocked how often they're basically just a perk of paying hefty sponsorship fees to event organizers. Do not let a giant marketing budget masquerade as technical skill. Instead, look for the actual green flags. Look at the true criteria of a firm's expertise. Are there staff out there speaking at major conferences? Are they actively contributing to the community, like writing quality books or producing serious content? Is the vast majority of their team made up of actual hands-on consultants rather than just sales reps? When a company's employees are writing the security books and speaking at the big conventions, it shows a deep, peer-reviewed understanding of the subject. It proves they are actively contributing knowledge to the cybersecurity community, not just extracting cash from it. Section 3, Global and Enterprise Leaders. Let's zoom out and look at the landscape mapping here. We're going to categorize the top European players mentioned in the source by their ideal business use case. Because when it comes to this stuff, scale matters a lot. So let's map out the heavyweights so you can perfectly align a vendor's scale to your specific corporate needs. You've got Bay Systems out of the UK, offering premium, high-price quality. They're basically the default choice for governments and massive corporations. Then, Microsoft actually has a premium professional services division doing security consulting, which is highly recommended if your shop is already super Microsoft-centric. There's also Chronicle, Google's stealth global security company, great for large customers or really profitable boutiques. And for sheer massive scale, like implementing a gigantic enterprise project, a titan like Accenture provides the exact architectural mix you need for that level of complexity. But hey, scale definitely comes with its own risks. While globally known firms like NCC Group have undeniably top-notch consultants, The source explicitly warns that rapid corporate expansion can sometimes create a less personalized, kind of conveyor belt business model. The danger is that, sure, the partners at the top are brilliant, but because of that rapid expansion, you might wind up paying premium top-tier rates just to have junior staff run standardized cookie-cutter tests on your systems. Which brings us to Section 4, specialized and boutique firms. Honestly, if your organization doesn't actively need a massive global integrator, this is where you want to look. These are the highly specialized boutique firms in the EU that you call in for incredibly deep technical work, totally avoiding that massive corporate overhead. For instance, if you specifically need security product reverse engineering, especially in regions like Austria, Germany, or Switzerland, the source highlights SEC Consult as an absolute powerhouse. They point out the staggering amount of reverse engineering this firm does just to discover vulnerabilities in other security products. It is a fantastic example of a firm picking a deeply technical niche and just executing it flawlessly. And remember how we said every EU country has its own local gems? Looking at Atlant Security, which is actually the European boutique firm founded by the author of our source article, Alexander Sverdlov. They fit the exact framework of a pure consulting boutique. They are a young, fast-moving company, laser-focused on rapid compliance, and crucially, zero reselling. Led by a CEO who speaks at conferences and writes security books, they maintain that strict, conflict-free consulting ethos. The focus is 100% on sound architecture, never on pushing software. So let's bring it all together. Here is your incredibly practical decision-maker checklist. Step 1, ask the reseller question. If they sell software, walk away. Step 2, vet their actual expertise by verifying those community contributions. Are they speaking? Are they publishing? And step 3, match the firm's size and scale exactly to your project's architectural needs. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a really hard look at your current IT procurement. Ask yourself this final, absolutely critical question before you sign your very next contract. Look closely at the invoices you are paying right now and the advice you're receiving. Are you paying for a genuine architectural defense that actually protects your company's future? Or are you just funding a disguised reseller's software commission? Seriously, it's a question you literally cannot afford to get wrong.